All right,
Yeah.
ready to get started?
Yes.
Let's do this. Take everything off the table that doesn't need to be there, and get that case first, and open that case up.
The liquor is going on the floor.
I'm actually, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I am avoiding making a drink until I get stressed, right? Okay.
Yeah, you gotta wait till at least you get into a screw up or something, and then you gotta get a drink. Well, the case is fully shielded. There's nothing to be scared about. What I usually do is I just turn it all the way over and just lift it so that the styrofoam can come up. Dude, you know what's awesome? When Poofy pulled the plastic down on the case, the reflection on the glass panel was showing the stream. So I saw perfectly like the whole stream on the side of the case. That was pretty cool.
We did what we could, man. We did what we could.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
Cool.
this brings back memories.
This
Good
is
stuff,
actually
right?
bigger than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
This is sick.
So on the back there, Poofy, you got one thumb screw for the glass, for the tempered glass, and it's going to come off at like an angle. And then on the other side, you got two thumb screws that take off the metal on the other side. So why don't you go ahead and take those two pieces off and set them aside somewhere where you won't get them, kick them over or anything like that.
Poofy actually found Maple, and I think that was Poofy's first streamer to find.
Yeah. Wow, first? Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Holy cow.
I'm telling you, whenever I came on your stream, I said I have no idea what I'm doing.
She came running to me and she's like, I met this guy. And I was like, I don't like him already.
Shut up.
And she was like, no, he's a streamer and he's a nice guy. His name is Maple Stank. And I was like, it's Maple Stank? Does he smoke the marijuana? So like she showed me your stream and I was like,
Streaker.
damn,
talking about fire?
Poofy, you get on for one day and you find a good streamer. It takes me like a week.
What is this
All right,
box and stuff in here?
That's what we were looking for. So we were looking for the box of hardware. So that is all of your screws and everything that you're going to use to actually mount everything to the case, and any accessories we need as well. So we need to open that up and go through that real quick.
D is in dork
Delta-
or
Delta?
D? Delta.
Down here,
Oh,
these
that
down
too.
here. Yep. Those are going to be the ones that you're going to use for the motherboard. They're going to be 21 of them in a bag. These ones, the screw M3. We don't need these tonight, but this is what you're going to use for the hard drive. So you want to keep those aside so you know you have those.
It's candy.
G and
H.
H. So the difference being is that they're both copper. They both look like this, but one of them looks like they have like a ball on top. One of them is meant to take a screw where it has a hole to allow you to put a screw through it. And the other one is just like a standoff where it's just like a plastic peg or something. We want the ones that are copper. We want the ones that we can put screws into. And there should be 9 of them. So if you want to just take a look inside of the case, Poofy, you can confirm that if you can see them on the inside of the case. And you want to make it so that we line up the motherboard to these 9. So you want to kind of look at how they're positioned inside the case. Make sure that these 6, these 3 and these 3 on the right here, like kind of like line up, all 6 of them. And then the other 9, the other 3 on the left here.
I see 9, but one of them doesn't look like the rest.
Does it have a ball on top of it instead?
Yeah.
Okay, so that one's probably the standoff. Is it the middle one?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So that's like the focal point, the center point. That they don't want you to put a screw there, so that's fine. So we'll just use the other 8. Why don't you get the motherboard box and start opening that up? And the motherboard box, the motherboard is in an anti-static bag, so you don't have to worry about opening it up and touching something. How many pins are on that one end there, the one that has the exposed pins? How many are there?
6.
6, 3 and 3?
It's 4 and 2.
4 and 2. And then how many spots are on that F panel connector that you were showing me from the case?
I'll figure this part out. I'm good for something. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9.
So there's 5 and 4, Kody?
There's an 8 and 1.
What?
Oh, hang on. You're looking at it like that. Yeah, it is 5 and 4. 5 left, 4 right.
Okay.
Look, tomato, okay?
You want to take the cables that are on the side of the case there, tuck them into the under the where the power supply is, like under that shelf there. Because we're to turn the case on its side. You want to put it so that the back side is
Glass
on the
side
bottom.
would be up.
Yeah, and the glass side would be up, exactly. Everything that you have right there, just lift it up with the box and the motherboard on top of the box. Just leave it there like a pile, like you're lifting everything up. And then put that on top of the case. What I want you to be able to do is be able to situate it so you can lean against it and push against it, and it won't sway, it won't shake, it won't fall over, but you can still touch the case at the same time. That's what we're trying to really do here. You're going to open the bag, you're going to take the motherboard out of the bag, and you're going to leave the bag exactly where it is on top of the box, and then you're just going to put the motherboard right on top of the bag. Like I said, you touch the case for 2-3 seconds, and as long as you don't move your hands, you can use 2 hands to move everything around. But again, just try not to move, shuffle. You want to try to keep contact with the case if you can. I'm bearskin.
Am I allowed to pick on you and make jokes and stuff?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, call me a nerd. I don't care.
Okay, you're not allowed to move your hands, but you can use your 2 hands. That was my favorite thing you just said.
Fire said I'm 100%. I 100% think spitting on a motherboard is not a good idea.
Now, why don't you come over here?
A couple things we're going to be doing with this is we're going to be installing the processor, the heatsink, probably the memory as well, and then we're going to seat it inside the computer. But one of the other things we have to do before we can see it in the computer is we also have to put the boilerplate in. That is going to snap into the back of your case, and that is specific to that motherboard. That motherboard, so you can't use other versions of it. You have to use the one that comes with the motherboard you bought. It looks like he has it. It looks like he has it correct. It looks like you just have to push from the corners down and apply pressure.
Some helpful things in there. Thank you so much for the help.
He's not wrong. Nope, never mind. He's right. I had it backwards.
Audio jacks
have
are
it
towards the bottom.
Yep. Yeah, I thought this was the bottom of the case.
Oh, you were on the other side. Yes, you have it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I was wrong.
This is kind of why we're doing it live too, because it's kind of hard to see what's going on for Maple. So if y'all catch anything, y'all can point it out.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what angle that's from either. So once we would have put the motherboard in, we would have figured it out though. So no big deal. Get all of the other parts that we're going to put into the motherboard. That's going to be the CPU. That's going to be the memory. And that's going to be the cooler, the big fan. So get those 3. And the graphics card we could save for later. You don't have to do that now. That's the i5. You had the CPU. That was the first one.
You're not supposed to hear that. Cool.
Yep.
Wait, this is the only thing we're going to use out of that whole thing?
Yep.
This thing?
Yep. That's what you paid for. Notice how it's all metal. Everything that's got plastic, that's cheap.
At least it's metal.
Cooler is going to be the most complicated part of the setup. The CPU will install first, but I want to go over the cooler with you first so we understand how it installs and what you're going to have to do to get this done first, okay? Get the plate onto the back of the board first. So you got to mount that to the back of the board. So you're going to need a couple of different parts here. You can actually see here that the fan on the side has 2 little like little clips that you just pull back. And you can remove the fan to like give yourself more room to work. So you got to get pieces D and E, which is like the little shoe and the little standoff that's going to go into the front of the motherboard. So you got to get 4 of those. Just put them all together, basically how it is here. Just drop the standoff into the little shoe. Those look to be maybe upside down. The screws have to go through the bottom of those shoes.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. I see now, because
Yeah.
it's like a washer, but thick.
Correct. So
I feel like it's...
Right now, you have the plate on top of the motherboard. We need to put that plate on the underside of the motherboard. So you have to lift the motherboard up and actually
that's
put that on the bottom.
why.
Yes, that plate on the back is going to be the mounting point. So you put it on the underside, take 1 screw, put it through, put it into one of those holes, and then get one of those bolt nuts and just start screwing on one of the nuts. I don't want you to tighten it all the way when you secure one. Just get one of the nuts on so it won't fall off, and then move on to the next one. Because what you want to do is you want to do it in like a figure 8 pattern. You see here how they're doing it? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want to start on one corner and then go to the next one.
Put them on.
Poofy, try to make it so that the board is flat first, because you don't want to really put pressure unevenly on the motherboard. You might risk breaking something. So trying to make it flat on the box and not wobble it is, when you're putting pressure on it, is very important. If you've made those hand tight and that's good, yeah, you're gonna flip it back over, and we're gonna get ready for the rest of the block now. If you're looking at my stream, there's a little plastic shroud that goes over the top of the socket, and the reason why is because the socket is exposed, so they don't want to get dust or anything else in there. So the way this is going to work is this whole socket is a tension socket. You see the silver screw here in the front on the left hand side, and then the 2 silver screws here on the right. Those are actually pulling downward on the board in order to keep the CPU seated in its socket. So it's going to be a lot of pressure in order to keep that seated. So what you want to do is this bar on the right hand side here, you're going to want to pull this bar down and then to the right, basically sideways, towards the memory slots, the 4 memory slots. And when you do that, you should be able to lift it up, and then the whole tension slot should come free. Yep, looks good. So when you lift that, the little plastic piece is going to be attached to that door. So you can kind of see how when you lifted that bar, you saw how it slid like backward, that whole metal plate slid backward. That's important because the lip of that middle plate needs to go under that front screw. You want to hold the side so that you don't touch the top of it or the bottom of it. Does that make sense?
You want to try to avoid putting grease from your fingers on those little circuit dot thingies.
Those circuit dot thingies you don't want to touch, period. The only thing you want to touch is the metal top that is flat and covered, because that's not exposed. That bottom piece is exposed. So the way you have it now, you kind of want to pancake it. You want to flip it over. So look at the chip. Somewhere on the chip, there's going to be a little arrow.
Oh, I see.
You see it in the corner? It's going to be right in the corner. Here's the little arrow right down here, right in the corner. Right in the bottom left. And the other thing that's going to be a good indicator also is if you look at the chip itself. The chip, the outside, the green board, is not perfectly square. There's 2 little notches on both of the sides here. So the 2 little notches are also going to fit into the slot a specific way. There should be a corner that looks different where it lines up. You should be able to differentiate it. I think it's the one you're pointing at. It looks like the one you're pointing at. The silver side is where we're going to put the cooler on, so that has to be facing up. And it's just going to sit in. So it should be basically sit flush. It shouldn't move around. It should be good. Yeah, I'll tell you once I see it and look.
It fell
I know you have a little
right
bit of
in.
delay.
Yeah, you
the
did it
hole.
great. You did it without even touching, so that's great. Let me just see.
When a man is a woman.
On the metal part that you pulled out, the tension bar and everything, that little piece of plastic is going to pop off of there. You got to pop that out of that top metal piece. You're going to start bringing that tension bar forward, and you're going to feel pressure. So just as long as it moves, though, because that whole socket, right, should basically bend down with you. So that whole piece should move forward. It should slide forward as you pull the bar down.
It's in there.
There you go. No, we didn't have to paste it in there because I remember back in the day, and it even came with some glue shit. We used to have to do this. We don't need it on this one. We just clamp it.
Yep, that looks good. You got it.
Damn, that's so much easier. Okay.
All right, so now the next piece is you're going to get ready for the cooler. So you're going to want to clean the surface of the die from any oils from your fingers just from touching it. So if you have those alcohol wipes, you're going to want to wipe the top of the surface of that metal that's exposed there on that processor.
Okay, what exactly am I wiping down?
So just that metal surface, the chip that you put down in there. You don't. I mean, it's alcohol, so it's going to evaporate, and you don't have to worry about anything else. But you really just want to focus on just that metal top of that processor that we just put into the socket, and that's it.